Before we even get to a win or a fail, I need every single person in chat to phase the fuck up, dude. FaZe Clan is officially a publicly traded company. I don't know, maybe a month back, I was talking about this and there was serious doubt this deal would even happen. It got postponed many, many, many times. Former employees say it's a shit show. And those former employees, along with current employees, all dumped their shares the second they were allowed to. Within 90 minutes of FaZe Clan going public, they were down 30%. Now, this is not a great sign. This is not a great sign. And it does seem, as I predicted in the previous FaZe video, that they kind of have forced this through against the better judgment of financial advisors because they needed the money. They needed a way to unload the stock onto the public to get some much needed liquidity because this company loses money. Top of my head, I think it's between $24 and $30 million a year. But we'll have to start off with a big win for FaZe for making it here and then a big fail for them literally 90 minutes later. The stock is about to phase up. Yeah, maybe it started by going down so that it can start actually spelling out a giant FaZe logo. I want to shout out one of the greatest diamond handers of all time. Big win to everybody at Tesla and Elon Musk, who announced 1 year ago on May 19th that they have diamond hands. Tesla diamond hands. This is, of course, the date that Elon Musk purchased with Tesla funds on the Tesla balance sheet a few $100 million worth of Bitcoin. And with this tweet, you knew they would never, ever, ever sell until today, exactly 1 year later, when Tesla dumped 75% of its Bitcoin holdings right before earnings so they could have a cash pop into earnings. It's the problem with Tesla, this is a little bit of an aside that I've talked about many times, but is that the stock is valued so stupidly high. Let's say you have a first edition Charizard, okay? That's a valuable card. You have it and you want to sell it to me. And you say, okay, this card's valuable. It's going to go up in price. It's continued to go up in price. It's a good card. It's the rarest card. And all your arguments are true. They can be true. And so I'm like, all right, I'll buy it. And I'll pay $500,000 or whatever it is. Okay? And then if I take that card and I go to somebody else and I repeat the exact same arguments, I say, look, it's a great card. It's the rarest card. It's going to go up in value. And then I try to sell it for $40 million. Do you understand what I'm saying? Eventually there's a number where even if the arguments are true, it doesn't make sense. If you want to invest in Tesla, actually, let me take a moment and talk about the sponsor of today's Marketing Monday, Public.com. Up to $300 in free stock from any company, I think including Tesla. You can go to public.com/Atrioc and check it out. Public.com, a longtime supporter of Marketing Monday, and they have a morally defensible business model, unlike some of their competitors. Not a financial advice, but I wouldn't purchase FaZe or Tesla or options or anything like that. But again, all choices are yours. And you can also invest fractionally. One more thing I want to say is that if you want to test your ideas, you can invest like $1. Like instead of buying an Amazon share for $1,000 or whatever, you can just put in $1 and it'll give you a fraction of it. So check it out. Thanks again for supporting. Back to the actual wins and fails. Speaking of FaZe and that whole space, I want to give an actual win, a begrudging win to the people at Finalmouse. They launched the Tenz Finalmouse Starlight Pro mouse and sold 40,000 units at, I think, like $190 a pop and made, I believe, something like $7.6 million in revenue. I don't know what percentage that Tenz gets, but no matter what, it's probably a nice chunk of change. I don't love these guys' like day-to-day marketing. They're always talking about how like their mouse is the fucking hand of Christ. But it just goes to show that even if it's done a little bit weirdly or awkwardly, influencer marketing and creator marketing is so far ahead of the game right now. And what I'm seeing here is kind of like what athlete drops were to shoes, to sneakers. Let's give a fail. I think I do this every single week. I was going to give a fail to the pores. Let's see if I can twist it. I want to give an actual win here to finding a way to rethink, reshift the paradigm and bring something we all love, microtransactions. Well, BMW is bringing it to the real world, baby. You can now get microtransactions on a car you've already purchased by getting things like heated seats and heated wheels that are locked out via software. No, I want to talk a little bit about this because this is a wider trend going on in all of business. The two biggest and greatest examples are the Adobe Suite and Microsoft Office. Converted from a bundle that you would buy whenever they had a new one to a subscription feature and made absolute insane amounts of profit. A lot of big companies, let's say that use the Adobe Suite, would be like, we don't need the newest version. Let's stick on the old one for now, and that's fine. Now it's either you pay the fee or nothing. That's your only options. You are locked in to this recurring revenue fee for all time, and this made them an absolute mint. And everybody else looking at this is eyeing this kind of profit and wants to have this type of cycle going into a downturn. The problem is not everybody's gonna be able to pull it off. This is more like the Apple model where they sell you the iPhone and then get you on 100 different subscriptions. But other companies are jumping in with no real plan. And I want to give an example of one I think is doomed from the start. Snapchat. So let's give a big fail to Snapchat, who introduced a brand new paid subscription model at $4 a month. And I believe you get exclusive, experimental, and pre-release features. End of the day, what you have to realize is that most of these recurring revenue bundles, while it is annoying to have to pay every month, the best ones give you something like $8 billion of value for every dollar you spend. And for Snapchat, there's just no way they have the ability to give you that kind of value. And as people go into a downturn, they're being way more picky and stingy about which subscriptions they keep and which kids they throw away. A lot of these smaller companies that are trying to jump into the monthly recurring revenue thing are going to be in for a rude awakening. And I don't think it's going to work. Game Pass is an amazing one. The amount of value you get from Game Pass is absurd. Let's talk about Netflix, because as we mentioned in a Marketing Monday a few weeks ago, Netflix stock has taken a beating. They're down like 75, 80% from their highs. But guess what? I found a way to turn it all around. Let's say you lost 200,000 subscribers and lost 80% of your value. What do you announce to Wall Street to turn that around and go back up? That's right, that you lost 1 million subscribers. And it actually worked. All you have to do is tell them beforehand that you're gonna lose 2 million. This looks great on a 1 month chart. If you go year to date, it's not, it's a small uptick. Genius 5-head level play is to announce things are going to be so bad that when they're actually bad, it looks good. But let's not beat around the bush here. Netflix is in dangerous times. And if you want to talk about a competitor that really wants to seize this moment, let's look no further than the next win I'm giving, which is looking at copying your friend's homework. Amazon Prime Video is releasing a brand new redesign, and it looks exactly like Netflix. They have seen their opportunity, and they are coming for the jugular, dude. It'd be funny if their new intro is just Jeff Bezos saying "dum." Let's talk about something I seem to forget on Marketing Monday: actual marketing. I like to throw in an actual ad now and then, and I saw an ad this week that was kind of clever.
This summer, we tapped star quarterback Patrick Mahomes to be in a promo for Coors Light. Turns out, we overlooked the fact that he can't actually promote Coors Light.
So it's actually true that the alcohol sponsor of the NFL, I believe, is Budweiser, and all of the players are under contract and cannot promote a competing alcohol brand. But they found a clever way to get him to do it anyway by making...
It's a flashlight.
That's right. It's a flashlight, not a beer. Introducing the Coors Light, coming in at 12 or 16 fluid ounces, or those warm summer nights spent with great friends. The Coors Light is made with high-quality steel, so it feels cold as the Rocky Mountains, to use a random analogy.
Yeah, so they pulled it off. It skirted the rules in the right way, and it's kind of clever, and I think it was a pretty smart way to get some buzz. Yeah, a lot of earned media. They sold out of the flashlight. I'm sure they only made like a few. The whole idea was the ad. They're not trying to make a flashlight business. Usually I give fails for things that are wins, and I give wins for things that are fails. But this isn't really a fail. You know what I'm saying? What I'm talking about next is like an oopsie whoopsie. I guess, oopsie whoopsie. They made an AI to sort of develop new drugs that could save lives. And it turns out if you tweak the parameters slightly, it invented a ton of new chemical warfare agents. Within 6 hours, it invented Deadly VX, which is a nerve agent, basically Novichok, like from The Boys. Like from The Boys. It's like a fun reference to The Boys. So it's kind of like a fun little oopsie whoopsie. It's not a big deal that AI can develop chemicals that can kill human beings with a few milligrams on contact. Just switch that thing right back off. We don't have to worry about it. Remember those dancing robots from back in the day from Boston Dynamics? Well, they got a new hobby. A lot of you are young. Some of you are, 20, 22. There's no shot that within the next 50 years, this is a problem. Right? I mean, come on. If you're 20 right now, there's no shot that at the rate of... this thing's barely even aiming well. There's no shot this is going to change the way warfare is done and the way oppression is done. But there's just no shot. So let's get over it. Let's stop being Debbie Downers. And let's give a dub to these Boston Dynamic robots for picking up a new hobby. It's cute like a dog, though. What's funny is, this is probably the worst fucking way to attach a gun to a robot. Why wouldn't you just build a gun into the... why the fuck are you, getting a handheld human gun with a trigger? Don't give them ideas. The fucking Boston Dynamics people are writing this down. I want to give a dub to all of us who are not investment bankers. Because all of us who are not investment bankers often have to look at the world and be like, damn, it kind of sucks that investment bankers are making that much fucking money. And so it's nice when occasionally investment banking revenues all collapse at once and you hear stories of them drastically cutting pay and bonuses. A new world record by BlackRock for the most money lost in a 6-month period. They have absolutely had a bad 6 months. $1.7 trillion is a tough amount to lose. Though, if they continue to dip, it's not unreasonable to think they'd have to unload some of the houses they purchased, which, may be a good thing for me in the market, could be a bad thing for the economy, a real 2009 type situation. Why is that bad? Cheap houses good? Cheap houses are good for people who don't have houses, yes, but a lot of America's wealth and people's wealth is tied up in their real estate. Maybe you don't remember 2009, but it's going to lead to a severe and sustained recession. The Europe segment, called, I'm now renaming it to Oi BRUV. And it's hotter than a cuppa here because let's get to Europe. The hottest day and night on record. We're both recorded in Spain. And all over Europe, they're setting new heat records. Not very good, especially in a continent that has very little air conditioning. It's just not built in, and a lot of the buildings are built to retain heat. I was getting kind of worried about this or feeling kind of down about this, but then I watched a segment.
John, you're outside enjoying the sunshine. It's not too hot, is it?
By early next week, you can scrap 20 degrees. It could well be 40 degrees. I think there will be hundreds, if not thousands, of excess deaths early next week.
John.
The charts that I can see in front of me are frightening. So we all like nice weather, but this will...
First of all, bit of a downer, bit of a yikes. And also, is Buckinghamshire a real place, or are they just fucking taking the piss at this point? Right? Come on. Yikes.
So John, I want us to be happy about the weather and every single... I don't know whether something's happened to meteorologists to make you all a little bit fatalistic and harbingers of doom. Because all of the broadcasts, particularly on the BBC, every time I've turned on anyone's talking about the weather, they're saying that there's going to be tons of fatalities. But haven't we always had hot weather?
No. And we are seeing more and more records, more and more frequently and more severely.
Yeah, so that was literally a scene from Don't Look Up. Of her being like, come on, don't be a downer. So fucking funny if it wasn't so cosmically sad. I'm going to give a win to myself. I'm not going to be so mean to my European chatters this week. Let's not make fun of their stupid accents. Okay, let's not make fun of the way they say Tuesday. Let's reach across the aisle. We're not doing so hot ourselves. Well, hot's probably the wrong choice of words. If you guys don't know, the birth rate in countries all over Europe, even including like Greece, is extremely low. Fertility has been dropping. People are putting off having children until later in life. And there's no real way to solve this, except I think one American could do it. And that is why I want to bring back Elon Musk, who just dropped into Greece this week to turn things around. He's got a chest you could just take a nap on. Look at this man. And the sun just it's like almost a solar energy source. The best segment of all, though, say it with him.
What's up, Beijing?
What's up, Beijing? What's going on in the world of China? Now, we mentioned last week that there have been massive protests from Chinese home buyers who have been paying mortgages on unbuilt homes, and they basically refuse to keep paying. It's been a real problem in the country. It's been roiling the country for the past week. But you wouldn't know it if you checked the news there, because censors have been working absolutely overtime. As far as I can tell, there were no mortgage protests. I was actually wrong. I want to retract last week what I said last week, because I can't find any evidence anymore. And that, I believe, is the wins and fails. Woo! 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 Goodbye, Beijing!